Morning Wildcats, it's Miss Graves. I'm here summarizing pages 161 to 195. Starting with chapter 27 with Connor's perspective, they are putting kids into groups of 4 to put into these containers to load onto the airplane and then take them to their next destination. When they're starting to group them together, Connor sees that he's standing dangerously close to Roland and he doesn't want to be put into a crate with him because he thinks, if I'm in a crate with Roland in the dark, I'm going to be dead by the time the plane lands. So he turns to one of the other guys that was going to be getting in the crate with him, and he punches him pretty hard, enough to draw blood and maybe even break a nose. And then the guard removes Connor and puts him in a different crate. So that's exactly what Connor wanted. While they're in the crate, they have conversations about what does it mean to be unwound and what happens to your soul. And I think the author wants you to think about what happens to these characters when they become unwound, because I think they're going to reveal that. No, I know they're going to reveal it. They're going to write that later. So they want you to be thinking ahead. They joke about where their body parts were going to go, like one person's mouth was going to go to a rock star and someone's hands were going to go to an artist in that chapter. Chapter 28 is from Rissa's perspective. They've already landed. Keep in mind, when we're seeing things from Connor's perspective, if Rissa's not right there with them, we should be thinking about, I wonder where Rissa is, what's happening to her, just like we're also thinking about Lev. Where's Lev? And what's going on with Lev? And how are their paths going to cross? So in chapter 28, they've all landed. They open up the crate, and they're not just like free, like they go wandering off. They are free, so they walk out of the crate, and then the rumor mill is buzzing, like, what happened, what happened, what happened in these different crates when they were on the plane. And that's where we learn that one crate of 4 guys died. We don't know how yet, and this is really important, but they're dead when they land. Okay, we meet a new character, the Admiral. He's in charge of this new location where they are. And the word Admiral makes you think of military and makes you think of in charge. And he lets them all know, in this new society that we've built right here that you're a part of, this is not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. And I'm in charge. Chapter 29 is Lev's perspective. And it's just him thinking, it's only like a page and a half. It's him thinking about Cy and them going to Joplin, Missouri, and what that all means. And then chapter 30. Oh, chapter 30 is so sad. Chapter 30 is sad for Cy. It's sad for the kid who got unwound, who Cy has part of his brain. It's sad for the parents who unwound the kid whose brain Cy has. Are you following all these paths? It's kind of complicated. So Cy admits at the beginning of chapter 30 that his mental condition is not good, and he's hiding it from Lev. He's barely hanging on. And on page 185, there's a quote that I want to read to you. It says, "This boy in the corner of his head doesn't talk to him in words, he feels." So Sci-Fi sort of feels some urges and some memories from this kid, and he's trying to interpret that and figure out then where is he supposed to go in Joplin, Missouri, just from these feelings. He's figuring out the kid wants to go home, wherever home is. The other kid is starting to take over his actions more and more and more, and he says, they're gonna be so mad, I'm gonna be late for dinner, I'm not supposed to be late for dinner. And it's not Cy thinking this and feeling this. It's this kid whose brain that he has. Not the full brain. He just has part of the brain, but the kid's name was Tyler. So they're traveling to Tyler's parents' house. So Tyler wants to confront his parents somehow about something. Oh my gosh. So on the way there, they notice a cop car following them, and they look ahead to the street because they figured out where the parents live, and there's a cop car there. Okay. They go to the door, and the parents look, and Cy says something. I mean, he doesn't look like their kid, and he doesn't exactly sound like his kid, but kind of. It's the way people talk that they're picking up on, and they look at him and they go, "Tyler, is that you?" And he's telling them, I want a, and he can't quite figure out the word, and so he's doing this motion, and so he's motioning for a shovel. He wants a shovel. So he gets a shovel, and he goes to the backyard, and he starts to dig up this briefcase. He opens it up and is filled with fine jewelry, gold and emeralds and diamonds and rings and bracelets and earrings, just filled. And he scoops it up in his hands and he walks towards his parents. And he keeps saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Please don't unwind me. And he's just really kind of losing his mind. And you can see all this jewelry like dripping through his fingers. And he just keeps walking towards them. And the parents are freaked out and they're frozen. Like they don't know what to do or say. They knew Tyler had a problem with stealing. That's why they unwound him. They didn't know that he hoarded all those things that he stole and buried them in their backyard. And he just keeps saying, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Isn't that heartbreaking? Then chapter 31, Lev takes over and he looks at those parents and he says, tell him what he needs to hear. Tell him. And they're like, don't know. And then he says, tell him you won't unwind him. Tyler doesn't know that he's already been unwound. Tyler doesn't know that he's already a part of someone else's brain and body. And that really is so sad. It's sad for Tyler. It's sad for Sci-Fi, who's got this kid in his head and making him do things. It's sad for the parents that they made this decision, and I don't know if they're real happy about it. They're traumatized, and they kind of should be. Then on page 192, there's a standoff with the cops, because they were there, and the parents say it. They finally say what Tyler needs to hear in front of the parents. And Cy just gives these sobs of relief. This strong motion just spills out of him. And he takes off and he runs away from the cops. Oh my gosh. On page 193, Lev confesses, this is a quote, he knows he's been changed by this moment forever. This is a defining moment for Lev. He's had a few of them. When he got kidnapped by Connor and Rissa, that was one defining moment where he had to make this decision or this one. Then when he escaped out of the bathroom, that was another big defining moment for him, a moment that changes him in another way. And so this is another one. So exciting. Hey, enjoy the next couple chapters, and I'll see you later.